Well, happy Sunday, and welcome to my YouTube video for the week. I hope you all get used to some of these affectations I have. Pushing the glasses up, looking away, doing the whatever. Anyway, my topic this Sunday is going to be naturopathy, herbal medicine, and fitness. That, as I said in the last video, has been the golden thread or the common thread throughout my life. Sorry about the glare in my glasses, but I kind of see shite without them. I don't see much even with them. So let's make it the most that we can with what we've got. So deal with the glare of my phone back into my glasses. You don't need to see me anyway, you just need to hear what I'm saying. So, on the topic of naturopathy and herbal medicine and fitness, I would say that primarily started when I was in my 20s. I probably became more aware of healthy eating, what I thought was healthy eating in my 20s, when I became pregnant with my first child, Hannah. And I was pregnant when I was 20, and I gave birth when I was 20 in September of 1983. And I was a runner and a gymnast, and I jumped trampoline, and I did all kinds of things. And I did not stop doing any of those things in my pregnancy because my doctor had told me that you can continue to do whatever you normally do. He didn't understand who he was talking to when he said that, but so I continued. I continued to run 10 miles a day. I continued to do gymnastics and tumble, backflips, jump trampoline, double mini tramp, all these things. Because it's what I'd always done. And to me, pregnancy wasn't a condition. Just, I'm pregnant now, but I keep doing what I do. So in my first pregnancy, I got a little more balanced about my diet rather than just eating chocolate all day, which was kind of what I tended to do. Carboholic like my dad. I started to think about, I need to eat balanced meals. Like there needs to be some protein, and there needs to be some vegetables, and there needs to be. So I started doing that. And funny story I just told today to my friends Marlene, and Cody was that I remember one of my balanced meals back then was 2 or 3 hot dogs, no bun, 2 or 3 hot dogs, frozen vegetables like carrots, corn, and peas, and like a piece of bread with butter or something. Like it's a journey. Our life is a journey, and we learn as we go. So at that time, from me just eating chocolate or shit all day, that was me doing well during my pregnancy. So from that, a lot of self-study, because I was going to have a baby and I wanted to really find out what was going on. And so I did a lot of study. There was no internet then. There was no, it was like Commodore VIC-20 was the computer where you could put color blocks. After an hour of sitting and doing C programming or whatever the fuck it was called, you got color blocks that went boop, 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 boop on the computer. That was a computer back then. So there wasn't a Google. There was no internet. I had to read everything. I had to go to the library. I had to buy books, magazines, whatever. And I did. And so from that, I had decided that we would not immunize our children because of information that I had, and I did thorough research because I'm fucking ADD and OCD. Hannah was my first. She was a girl, obviously. I have 5 children, 3 boys, 2 girls. None of my boys were circumcised. None of my children had sugar the first year of life. There's a lot of reasons why I did these things, and I can get into that in more detail later, but I will not at this point. I'm just touching base with some things. All of my children were really healthy. Their first year, 2, 3, 4 years of life, not a lot of illnesses, not really doctor's visits because I didn't do that anyway. With my fourth child, kid number 4, Samuel, I ended up having 3 breast infections inside of his first 2 months of life. The first breast infection, my doctor at the time, Dr. White, he put me on penicillin. My son Samuel had a terrible, my infant Samuel had a terrible allergic reaction. He was less than 2 months old. He broke out in thrush all over his mouth. That was kind of the beginning of the end for me. Well, actually, it started before that point. It started with my first pregnancy with Hannah, with my disillusionment with the medical community and their practices and protocol. Was not happy with the way things went. I had 2 more breast infections back to back, did 0 antibiotics, nursed through it. It was excruciating, but I was not going to subject my child to any more potential allergic reactions to pharmaceuticals. So I embarked on a lot of self-education. I started doing a lot of things. That's when I first found fasting. I've done so many diets through the years. A vegetarian, lacto-ovo, pescatarian. I've studied and I have books on immunology and biochemistry, kinesiology. I've done raw diets, keto diets, Atkins diets. So many nutritional avenues through my lifetime. I call myself a nutritional expert. Do I have a certification or a degree? Am I a nutritionist? No. Just a fucking lifetime of experience, experiment, gaining information, logging information, not just myself, but other people. So, have not relied on the medical community for really anything, relied on myself and my own ability to study, to learn, to glean knowledge from experts and publications and books and just a shit ton of fucking information long before the internet. By the time I was in my 30s, I was a full-blown herbalist. I had a pantry full of herbs. I made my own tinctures, balms, salves, essential oils, teas, remedies, jarred my own beets, pickles, jams. So into a lot of nature's real food and real remedies. That's when I discovered the golden seal, echinacea, like all kinds of herbs that were great for your immune system, and uva ursi for bladder infections, just all kinds of basic things. White willow bark, which is where aspirin comes from. And I experimented on myself. I've been my own guinea pig my whole life. And that doesn't mean that what works for me works for everybody, because we are all completely different chemistries. But there is a baseline as a human living organism. So I'm not anti-medicine or anti-vaccine. There's a time and a place. None of my children were immunized as infants. I was not going to take a perfect fucking body and shove it full of toxins, poisons. So, not saying my children did not have immunizations. They did. Later in life, once they had an established immune system. Like I say, I just have been consistent about there's a time and a place. There's a time and a place for pharmaceuticals. There's a time and a place for medicine and what it has to offer. But the majority of the time, in my belief and experience, nature heals nature. So I now have 40 years into studying the human body intricately, how it works, responds, adapts, overcomes sickness, injuries, addictions, genetic predispositions, how it responds to stimulus, etc. And there's a lot in here, and a lot that I have done. With my last video, I said that there's a lot of things that I have done, will eat, will do, that the average person would not. And there's a lot of things that I will never eat. I will never put in this living organism that most people will. So I'm a very different individual. I have a lot of keys, or I don't even think they're secrets. They're right there. They're right there. But I have a lot of information that most people would be, oh, like I never even thought of that I have done my whole life, that I just embarked on and discovered, tried, and found works. Very detailed, down to the most minute. So the last video was details, the devil's in the details, and it's true. This video is Natureopathy, Herbal Medicine, Fitness, which still comes down to all the details of the things that I have done throughout my life. It's down to these little details that most people probably just wouldn't think of, and maybe not even willing to do. But I have lived my life and conducted my life, and will continue as I have. Nature healing nature. And I want to end this video. It's a wee bit over from what I would normally do. But I want to end this video by doing a William Wallace quote. As I scratch my nose, William Wallace said, every man dies. Think about that for a minute. It's true. We all meet the same end. We're all terminal. Every man dies. Not every man lives. Don't buy into the narrative or the common. Live your life. Every man dies, but not every man lives. Live.